Good afternoon, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
Welcome to a new episode of The Chosen Moment. And this week we're going to be with a friend, a coach called Barry Knight.
Barry E. Knight.
Barry E. Knight. Barry is joining us before we let him in. So my name is Carlita.
And I'm Nally.
And together, we are the founders of His Chosen Sheep. This month of October is dedicated to entrepreneurs, to artists, to creatives. And last week, we had like an amazing creative and very interactive conversation with Don Dees. And today, we thought that to help people who are trying to go out there and create their own business, we were going to bring an awesome, amazing coach, mentor, a business strategist, Barry E. Knight.
Barry will definitely tell you a lot more about himself and what he does, but he has a great impact firm called EK Impact. Absolutely. And they talk about all different types of leadership development, strategy development, just how to basically put your best foot forward in creating in doing what God has called you to do. So we are excited to have him.
Absolutely. Bring him on in the group. We hope that everybody's having a great week, and definitely as we're talking, as usual, feel free to drop in your questions. We'll have a little bit of Q&A so that way you can know more about what's going on. Hey, Mr. Knight.
Joining us from the West Coast.
He's here from the West Coast.
Up in California. Hold on, let me get my light turned on, ladies.
Okay, no problem.
So while Barry is doing that, we just wanted to remind you all that share this live. Is going to be an amazing conversation. This month of October, the theme of the month, the general theme is the power to create. So to do that, there is a couple of things that should go behind, like just the creative mind. There is structure, there is like discipline, and with Barry, we're going to talk about the less fun part of creating the business. Though, there is a whole, structure, there is like a creative, there is discovering your purpose. So Barry is going to walk us through some of the steps and how he actually guide and coach. And if you want to know more after this conversation, please feel free to contact Barry. Follow him on his Instagram. Join his group. Nadia and I are part of his leadership group. So we have like mentoring every Saturday, once a month. But we also have other programs and classes coming on. And lately, the last one that we had was called Killing Goliath. And we're going to talk more about that. I'm excited about it. But before we go too far, please welcome Barry E. Knight.
Hey, Barry.
What's going on, people? Hey, good afternoon, good evening to you all on the East Coast and wherever you all are. Honored to be on with you, Carlita and Nally. Really, really honored to be with your group as well.
Awesome. Honored to have you.
Tell us about
awesome. Cool.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh my gosh, you want me to?
We know you.
you know. So you want me to just jump right in? So first of all, I have to let everybody know that I am definitely a child of God. I am kingdom-minded, 100%. Christ is first in everything that I do. He's the head of my life and the end of all. The reason I am is because of my faith in God, and that's just my book that I have to write for you right there. That's what my book would be about. So again, my name is Barry E. Knight. Grew up in California, and then at 13 years old, me and my father passed when I was 13. We moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So Atlanta is also home for me. Kind of both sides. I say, see, now you get to know something new about me. So I say Cali made me, but Georgia raised me. So I kind of have that put to it. So definitely, absolutely. So I have the Southern swag a little bit every now and then I have this Cali Beach Boy side to me as well. So I am happily married. In December, it'll be 17 years. I've been happily married, and my wife has been happily married about 8 years. My wife is Sasheen. She's an amazing woman and supports me in everything I do. She's a nurse. We have 3 beautiful kids. All this is important to me. When you ask me about me, you got to know about family and my faith. Definitely. So, again, been married 17 years, 3 kids, 15-year-old son, who's my namesake. We have a 12-year-old son, Charles, Edward, and then a 7-year-old daughter, Sydney Erica. So we're blessed. We have a blessed family. We're pretty dope. And I'm also the CEO and founder of BEK Impact Company. We are a leadership and social impact consulting firm. So I'll stop there because I can keep going on.
So what did you want to ask Barry first?
So I think, Barry, what we tend to do right off the bat is we're going to talk talk about a little different. I can't get the words out today. We're supposed to talk about a lot of different concepts, but we tend to do like a fun fact so people can know more about you. And I think the funniest thing, I'm trying to think like what would be like an interesting fun fact about, give us just
I think I have one.
Okay, you have one.
As we're talking about entrepreneurship, how old were you when you created your very, very own business or discovered that you have like an entrepreneur in you, and what was the business about?
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, so it's not going to be as fascinating as you want it to be, but I will answer the question. So I knew as a young kid that I was not meant to work for anyone. I already knew that. I made my mother very mad. She tried to get me to go to school. I wasn't ready. Got kicked out of school, academic probation, academic suspension in college.
That's so important too.
Because my mind wasn't wrapped around this process of going to work for someone, and I needed to find another way. And school just wasn't interesting to me at that time. College, graduated, eventually later on in my 30s, got my master's, but it just at that time at 18 to 21, it just wasn't for me. And I always had an entrepreneurial itch. And so I was late in the game to get in, to be honest, but here's kind of a little bit answering more, Carlita, for you. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money and to be wealthy. That's what I knew. But this being a CEO, it was too many rules and regulations. So I got into sales early on at 18 years old, and I started to make a lot of money. I'm making I'm a little older than 18 now, but back then, when you're 18, 19, making 25, 30 grand a year, it's not bad. It's not bad.
In the money. No, what were you selling?
That's my question.
That's
my question.
Well, I was selling the legal stuff. Don't worry. It was all legal. This was in Atlanta. So I worked for a company called MBNA, which was a credit card banking company. So we were selling credit cards to old people and to college students. So, I was killing the game. But yeah, so
I'm like, wow.
No.
Almost everybody I know has done that.
No. So I knew sales gave me that entrepreneurial satisfaction, and but I didn't really. I got kind of, and this is going to sound very bad. My journey took a detour because I knew ministry was involved, but I knew business was involved. And my father was a pastor, by the way. I grew up in church, born and raised in church, and so. Everybody who knows, if you're a part of any type of Black Pentecostal church and you're the son of a pastor, they look at you if you're charismatic and you're going to pastor too. So for years and years, I kept hearing this, and I felt I was out of the will of God if I didn't pastor. So after we got married, after my wife and I married, her name is Sasheen, by the way. And after we married, Thank you. After we married, I said, well, let me go start a church then. And so I guess that's where I got my entrepreneurial roots at 25 when I launched the church. But I had this itch that I was supposed to be traveling the world, building leaders, basically doing what I'm doing now. And I just, again, for 11 and a half years, I was stuck. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, but there's some people who are in ministry pastoring that should not be. Just bottom line.
That's a great point. That is a great point that you're highlighting. That feeling of being stagnant. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we're trying to do through this. Sorry, not to cut you, Barry.
No, go ahead, please.
Channel is like we definitely are about the kingdom, but we are not about like the religious part of it, where things have to be a certain way because it has always been like that. We try to highlight what kingdom is, not more than what the the do's and the don'ts, like the real like good news, which is for us, like we believe in entrepreneurship, we believe in money, we believe in making money as people who minister, and we don't think that ministering is just in the church, which is why we're here, right? So I do really, like Nali said, appreciate the fact that you highlighted the fact that some people are pastoring, but ministry is not always about pastoring or being in the church.
Facts, right. And that's what they do. It's like in church, especially the denomination I grew up in, if you're a teacher at a school, they don't want to empower you in the school. They want you to teach Sunday school or teach a small group. Or if you're in business, they want you to be on the finance team or on the board, not helping you empower the ministry of your business. And so I learned that later on. You know, Dr. Miles Monroe was a phenomenal influence in my life. And so when you talk about kingdom, that's was the beginning for me, listening to him. And when I say hours and hours on the end listening to him, and I have to give him, and rest in peace, credit for a lot of where I am today.
Even just this morning, he's one of my very mentors when it comes to business and kingdom. So I love him. We love him here. Like I think the whole team knows about him now at this point. But cool. Absolutely.
Awesome.
For me, like the next will be like for some of the entrepreneurs, we have a whole lot of like artists, creatives that are in ministry. We had one that was online with us last week. What are some of the practical advice that you will give people first to discover what really their business and their purpose is about? And next, like how do they move from the vision that they have for their business to the purpose to now, putting down the business and making it happen? Hi, Dondiz, we see you.
Right on. Great question. So I'm going to start with kind of talking about my journey parallel with this. You have to discover what I call your dominant place. That place where you'll have the greatest satisfaction, fulfillment, income, influence. Everybody has a place, but the world is so busy, it tries to put you on a path to take you out of that place. And so again, I'm a teacher, I'm a speaker. So they said, oh, you speak so well, you must pastor. And they put me on this kind of trajectory, but that's not what I was called to do. And there's a lot of people that are that are gifted, but their gift is not really, it's not making room for them, right? The job is making room for them. The position is making room, but their gift is not making room for them and bringing them before great men. And so that's the number one. And when I say your dominant place, we're talking about the place where your greatest gift, your greatest passion, your greatest momentum, your greatest burden, and your greatest reward. It has to be something that you're really, really gifted. So gifted to when you're doing it, it's literally like energy coming out of you. So if you see me speaking with my hands right now, I'm in a zone. I enter a zone when I'm talking, right? Because this is my dominant place.
I love it.
And so everybody who's listening, I want you to write that down. Like, what is my dominant gift, my greatest gift? Start thinking about it. What am I so good at? And the passion, when you're talking about your greatest passion, you get lost in it. You could do it for hours without thinking about it. And you're gifted in a way to where it's just not energizing you, but whoever's receiving that gift, it's energizing. Another way to tell your dominant place is your momentum. People are asking you for it. You're called on it, and you kind of do it for free. You don't even think about it, but people are like fired up, right? That's a dominant place. And then the next thing is your burden. You're like burdened to get something done. So when I was pastoring, I was pastoring using my gift, but I didn't have a burden to pastor. But when businesses and government agencies would call me and I'd be on stage or I'd be in a room training or coaching, I'd be at another level because I had a burden for them. And then last is reward. It's the gift that people will pay you for. And everyone has that gift. A gift that people will say, can you do this? I'll pay you for it. Whatever that gift is, speaking, whether you're good at answering phones for people. If you're a receptionist, you have a business. If you love connecting people to other people, you have a business. You can be a virtual assistant. That's huge right now, right? So that's the first thing I would say, is discovering that thing that brings you the greatest impact, influence, and income. Your dominant place.
Influence, and income. That's where your dominant place is. And of course, if you want to know more, again, do not hesitate to reach out to Barry Knights. So you have this program that you started, I think it was last month, for leaders. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so we're starting the leadership class, and we want to help leaders drive greater impact and change and become the leader that people love to follow. And when we're talking about the leadership class, we're not talking about a place that you just come to learn, but it's a level you grow to become. We're a class of leaders. And so our vision is literally to raise up 1 million leaders over the next 20 years around the world, around this globe, who are building things, starting things that literally impact the world. So I don't care if it's a business, if it's a corporation, we want Fortune 500 leaders to come and be a part of our teaching and what we have in our coaching, so that they can be those leaders that people love to follow and drive greater impact and change. Bottom line, massively impact the world. So that's something they can definitely, if you're interested in that, just reach out to me. I can tell you more about it.
Absolutely. And as we're talking, if somebody from my team, thank you guys, by the way, can put Barry's website down here, because there is something that you do, and I want as many people who are watching this or who will be watching later to join, is the Saturday classes that you do, where you give, for me, it's like a gift, right? You give an hour a week to all leaders who want to join the party, and it's always very impactful. So please, team, if you can please put the email for people to join Barry's mailing list.
Awesome.
And it was 2 Saturday ago, last month, when you talked about the Goliath. Can you walk us through a little bit of that? I really love that session. I'm sorry. I just, like,
oh my God.
Can you walk us through that?
Yeah,
well,
listen, if you guys get it,
like, it was amazing. It was so timely. Like,
I love it. I love it. And we're gonna do part 2 on that coming up on the 17th. By the way, we're gonna do a lot of work, breakout groups. It's gonna be fire. The thing about it is, Goliath is intimidation. Goliath is that thing that's holding you back, that's keeping you normal. Goliath is that person or that ideology that keeps you mediocre. And then Goliath is also that thing that causes you to accept mediocrity as okay. And that's what a lot of people have done. They've been intimidated by Goliath so much that they just live in this box and they say, I'm okay here. And you're not okay. You're not okay, because there are people who need you that will never be exposed to the greatest you, because you live small and you won't learn how to fight Goliath. And Goliath was meant to expose your rock and show you that your rock is a little bit more powerful than just taking out lions and bears. So when we look at the story of David, we understand that David simply went to what he knew, but he did what he knew at a greater level. And I believe that's what God is calling. I've been talking since I came out of my mother's womb. I came out screaming, okay? So I've been making noise with my mouth for all my life, right? But over time, I learned to refine the gift, and I'm doing at one level right now, but then you begin to get vision and desire more and expand your vision, and then you do it at another level. So David just simply took his rock to another level. He used what he had. That was at that time his dominant place, that rock, that sling. And he used that in such a way to where he took on something that other people were scared of. Now, what's challenging about taking on Goliath is, for many of you all, especially with COVID, with all this stuff, we have not seen Goliath be taken on. A lot of us, there's certain things that we're going to be doing that you can't call anybody. You just have to go for what you know. I didn't know any pastors that left pastoring to go into business. I knew a lot of businessmen who left business to go into pastoring, but never the reverse. You know, and so I had to take on this Goliath, scared out of my mind. Married, had kids at the time, 3 children. I have a congregation that I raised, that I love still to this day, but I have this thing pulling me. And I said, if I stay here, then I'll continue to be intimidated by Goliath. I need to know what's beyond Goliath. I have to get beyond Goliath. And so that's a difficulty. It's challenging for many of you all. But the questions you have to ask, you just have to ask yourself, how long am I willing to stay here? Am I okay? Am I okay staying here? So, yeah, we got to take on Goliath. And Goliath, I'll say this last thing because I know I'm talking a lot, but that's what I do.
Oh, no. This is really good. This is good. And I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation because like
absolutely.
We really enjoyed that Saturday. That was like a big moment for us because we are experiencing a shift. That's you know, we have different platforms. This is one of them. And that was very impactful because we were literally talking about moving to the next, and that was like confirmation to us. And I think another thing that you also talked about, not only that, you know, we keep being in our small place, but it's also the fear of like doing what people expect us to do versus doing what God is calling us to do.
Right.
And then what it also did for me is highlighted the many years that I was in a place where I was talking myself into staying there. Where even naturally in different areas of my life, I'm like, oh, maybe I should step out to do this. Maybe I should step out to do that. But I realized I'm keeping myself. So you figure out those behaviors within that you've gotten so accustomed to that you don't realize how it's keeping you from progressing.
But Nala, you hit it. It's we learn it so much to where it becomes a behavior. And then no matter what the vision is, we reduce it down to that behavior. That's it. And we'll operate out of that behavior because our mindset has not been stretched. And so one of the things that I've done, I'm actually reading a book. I'm going to show you guys because I want you guys to get this book. It's called Taking People With You by David Novak. Everybody get that book. And I'm not getting any royalties by promoting it. It's just
David Novak
I'm halfway. Right, David Novak. Yeah, let's tag him. But one of the things, and I would be remiss to even take this as my own. I've done this kind of exercise in a different way, but I want everybody to think about if someone 10 times better than you was in your shoes right now, if they were growing your business, or if they had the vision that you have right now that you have not moved out on, or the business that you haven't grown or taken to the next level, what would that person that I love Kobe Bryant, right? He's Mamba. He's the best basketball player ever to me, in my opinion. And so Mamba mentality. Imagine a leader comes in and says, you know, Nally, Carlita, you guys are not, you're not doing right with his chosen sheep. I'm going to show you how to do this. What would that person who is not afraid be doing with your organization, your company right now? What decisions would they make? What, this is going to be hard. Who are the people that would be fired? That's hard. Who are the people who are the people that you wouldn't be hanging around anymore? If that Mamba mentality was making decisions for taking your company, your vision to the next level, what would they be doing? And we have to think about that and then ask ourselves, why aren't we doing it?
Oh, that's
the mirror.
Yeah.
Like,
So coming back to the from the entrepreneurship from the ground up, guys, we've been talking with Barry about the different steps, the vision, the Goliath David mindset, like, you know, going to the next level with what you have. And that does require like some sort of work on our own as leaders, which is like, you know, taking the coaches, taking the classes, taking the trainings, you know, investing in yourself. And we talk about this all the time here, like investing in yourself, and you know, and also just like, you know, like he just said, making the right choices as far as like managing your time, managing your resources, your energy, who would you have around you. But like right now, on a practical step, like somebody that is watching this right now that has a business idea, that want to go out there and do something, what are the 3 things that you would tell them to do right now?
So I'm going to challenge you on don't invest in yourself, invest in your vision. Okay.
Even better.
Okay.
Yeah, even better. Right?
And the reason I say that is because we tend to, when we have a big vision, we reduce it to manageable proportions. And then we start buying books and attending conferences that make us feel good about where we are. No. Start investing. Start investing not in you, but in things that stretch you. Invest. My coach right now.
True.
My God.
Things that bring you out of that comfort zone. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
I have a business coach. A coach, I think anybody who's a coach needs to have a coach. I have a business coach, and I tell him all the time, I don't like you. I don't like you. I can't stand you. I mean, he pisses me off every Friday when we meet.
But that's real.
It's true. True. We do coaching too in different aspects, but like for the workout, I tell my coach, I love you until it's time to work out, and I hate you. Like I leave
pushing you.
There you go. Because he stretches you. He stretches you. But if you were to invest in you, you would buy 5-pound weights and you'd buy a video and a DVD. But if you were investing in the but you're investing in the vision of who you want to be. And then you're investing by getting other people who are successfully doing what you're becoming. You see, when you're hanging around people at that level, I remember calling my coach last December, and my business was like dropping, revenue was dropping. And I thought I was going to, you know, call him and get some sympathy. And he was like, well, what are you going to do? Get up. What are you calling me for? Hang up the phone and go get some business. Go do something. And hung up the phone on me. And so if you have people around who are sitting around woo, 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 and it's going to be all right, I don't need you to pray for me. I need you to kick my butt and tell me to get up and do what I need to be doing. Period.
That's true.
Period. Let's go. True. Let's make it happen.
That's very true.
And that's one of the things you're going to have to do. People are going to have to do if they want to break into the next level. They have to start getting environments. And this is going to be hard. I wanted it so bad. I don't talk to people who knew me here. I don't talk to them anymore. I don't hang out with them. If you knew me here, I don't respond to you. I don't respond to you on Facebook, Instagram, text. I don't respond to you. Now that's hard, but because I want it bad enough. And the question is, how bad do you want it?
I think that's the real question, though. Because I look at us like literally, like it is sacrifice. Like, you know, we have to stop telling people that entrepreneurship is cool. Like, it is cool when you get to choose your own time. And even so, like for me, it is like a real, it requires more discipline, intentionality, even as far as like who you're talking to, for how long, what are you doing, how you're doing it, with who. And like you say, like, you know, you don't talk to people like this, not because you become arrogant, but because you have invited at some point those people to grow with you. And if they're not following you, and you cannot keep coming back, right? So
listen. Nehemiah had to tune out Tobiah and Sanballat. He's on the wall. I'm building the wall. I have a purpose. People are going to write about this for history, for years to come. And you have to be that focused and that determined. It's like this. Do you like people talking to you while you're taking the most important test of your life? Do you want people talking and sharing? Oh, hey, let's go. No, you're focused on getting a good grade on that test. And your vision, pursuing the vision, is that test. And you need to remove every distraction. And you have to have and not everybody can take this. You have to have a healthy obsession.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I was going to say is that you need to be healthy in that, because sometimes those people that you have around you are the folks that make you feel okay with everything that's going on. So you need to be emotionally intelligent and resolving whatever issues that you've had, to realize, why am I keeping these people here? If they're not pouring into me or helping me to elevate, you know, and it's not that they're not valuable as people. You know, we know that as the body of Christ, we love everybody like brother and sister. But if you're not helping me to go to that next level, then I know that there's an area in which I'm going to keep you in, and then you know, I'll send you a postcard. It's as simple as that.
Right on. That's it.
That's pretty much, guys. Like, as we're getting ready to get into the Q&A sessions, if you are here, do not hesitate to ask them, you know, to use the Q&A box. We have about 10-15 more minutes with Barry before we let him go. Thank you again for your time.
We definitely appreciate it.
Here are some of the questions that I want to ask, that we ask this to every guest that we've been having so far. We have a guest from Accra.
Welcome.
Hello, welcome. Ghana is with us.
Ghana is in the house.
Awesome. So, what are the best $20 that you have invested in your vision?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. For me, I've become, I can't say I've always been an avid reader, but reading books about people who are successfully doing, I think, like I said, this book by David Novak, he's the former CEO of Yum Brands, which is, what are those restaurants? It was connected to PepsiCo and then they split off, but I can't remember the restaurants. KFC and all those restaurants that they run. And Pizza Hut, different things like that. That's all under Yum Brands. So, but reading books, that, and $20, that would probably be my best $20 that I spend. And, but even beyond that, you have to, again, invest in your vision. You have to be clear on your vision. Number one, you got to get explicitly clear. Don't try to sell shoes, then jewelry, then some juice, and then some pills. You know, to pick that one thing and go ham on it. I mean, go all in on that one thing. But you know, $20 definitely reading a book.
What is that book that you bought, like, that literally changed your life? I know that you read a lot, but there is, we all have this one book.
Spark that, like, desire of, like,
you
know what?
For this season, what is that one book that you had that literally was like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this?
Well, you know, not to get too spiritual and say the Bible, but it is the Bible. But it definitely is number one. But I know people want more than that. But I mean, the Bible is, come on now. But the book, I have to say this one right here that I'm reading, because it's kicking me and pushing me in areas. And I think it is so because I'm open to it. I'm ready for it. And so for the past 3 weeks, I've been breaking up some things, addressing some of my own insecurities. And I thought the book was just about leadership, but it's a deeper sense of leadership. And I thought it was about building teams, but it's about building you so people want to follow you. So people want to get aboard.
Definitely.
And so it has really, really been a blessing to me, just reading this book, taking people with you.
I think what's astounding to me about that is that even in the stage that you are in now, you know, you've gone through these areas of life and you're at this level of development, that you're still learning. And I think that is an amazing thing to point out, that leaders are consistently developing. You're consistently learning new realms about yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely a great thing to highlight.
Do you want to ask a very next question?
My short-term memory is like horrible.
The COVID-19.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So during this season, right, and we're all in, we've all kind of been bunkered down. What's a new skill or something that you have found within yourself that I'm like, okay, I'm good at this and I'm enjoying this and I'm, you're perfecting it. What is it that you discovered about yourself within these last couple of months?
You guys have some really, really great questions here. I don't know if this is a skill, more than just getting focused. And it's okay to focus on one thing. And I guess it's more of a revelation of noticing that I was scattered. I was all over the place, and sometimes we feel being busy is productive, and that's not true. And so analyzing what makes me most productive and learning to do that and replicate that over and over again, and then getting other people to do the rest. That was a big, huge, and it's already reaping a lot of benefits to myself and our company and team as well. So it's been a pretty good blessing for me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's a great thing, because I think it is right. I think a lot of us, it's like we've been running a rat race, and this has caused us to sit down, be still, listen to what he is trying to tell us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Figure that out. So I think that's great. Yeah. That's awesome.
So how are some of the one question into two parts.
Yeah.
What are some of the creative ways that you express yourself? Because I do believe, as we are in the series about the power to create, I do believe that we all have the power to create in us. We are creatives. You know, you either develop it more or less. Yeah. What are some of the ways that who is a creative basically? What do you do as art? So any creative way that you express yourself. And the second part is, what are some of the ways that you unleash the stress? Because we all know that, you know, entrepreneurship, leadership is can be very stressful. Like, so what do you do to release that stress?
Okay, so the first question was about the creative me. You know, I don't really think I'm creative. I really don't think I'm all that. I have ability to stand on stage. That's where I'm most creative, when I'm doing that. But I guess my most creative gifting is how I see things and my vision. That's where I can probably just shine the loudest and the brightest, is because I can see what I use the word perceptual acuity, and that's the ability to see almost prophetically into, like, COVID. I knew when COVID hit, I said to myself, this is going to be the best time of our lives.
Yes.
Now,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, almost when you say that I'm not very creative, I was going to say that it's not really true, because
I was going to interject, but I was going to let you finish.
Speaking with you, like, you know, the way that you resolve issues, the way that you come across with solutions is very creative.
And what I was going to add is that you are a storyteller by nature. So you can create this vision in a way that people can see it, understand it. Like the whole Goliath and David thing, just listening to you explain this concept, I can visualize it, whatever my Goliath is. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's yeah, I think that I think that you do have it.
You don't give yourself enough credit when it comes to creativity, but yeah.
Well, listen, okay, well, I've learned about myself. I got educated on me. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. So I'm like Nally. My short term won't allow me to remember the second part of the question. It was about, tell me that again.
How do you release? What is it that you do?
Great. So I can give a very direct and even a brief answer to that. You have to know your proverbial brick wall. You have to learn yourself. And I know, so I don't hit it, because when you hit it, you lose momentum, you lose opportunities, you get frustrated, and you begin to operate at diminishing returns. So I've learned to call things out when I feel it, even if it's 3 weeks away. Like last weekend, I told my wife, I said, I need the water. And so I told her, make sure Saturday and Sunday we don't have anything to do, clear our schedules. We just took an overnight trip, stayed down at the hotel, and we went to the beach. And we just sat on the beach for hours, went in the water with my kids.
My kind of day.
And it was everything that I needed to do that. You know, we talk about self-care, but do you really care for yourself? And you need to analyze what you really need. And so that's what I needed. So I know my proverbial brick wall, and I know when I'm about to hit it, and I stop. And when I say I stop everything.
A hard stop.
Yeah. And I think that's important for every leader. I think that for every leader, there's a lot on our shoulders. There's a lot that we have to handle. There's many other lives in the balance, but you couldn't have highlighted that even any better.
Yeah.
Do you care for yourself enough to be able to care for others? So you need to, and I think leaders that gets lost in the translation of everything that you have to do. You don't know when to say, when. So that's awesome.
And I think it's also a way of like honoring God to remember that He's the one that is really in control and not us. Because that's one of the things that we tend to forget. Sometimes we think that we do things on our own strength when actually we just be an instrument that He's using and through us, to get things done. But absolutely learning to rest has been the word of the season for me as well.
God will drag you through that rest. Especially for people like us, we're always doing stuff.
Yes.
Right.
It's been a season of learning how to sit still and be comfortable.
Be comfortable.
That stillness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have one question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was about to say there's a question on the screen that I wanted to make sure I get to.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead.
So it says, can you kindly expand on COVID being the best time of our life? And Nala, you were just kind of hitting on it. And I'm not like, I've heard people say, oh, God did this. I don't believe God did it. I believe He allowed it to happen, obviously. And it really slowed people down. And people have said to me, well, you think it's a good time because you haven't lost anybody. Well, my aunt passed of COVID in May, and me and my aunt were extremely close. I mean, was like one of those big sister moms to me. And she passed away. So I have suffered loss. I have a friend in Atlanta, a very close friend who died, a lot of friends who have passed away from COVID. And here's the hard truth to this. And this is going to hurt. I promise you it's going to hurt, and it's going to make me seem insensitive. Okay? But here's the reality of life. People die. Okay? This is October. We're celebrating and honoring cancer survivors. And guess what? People pass away with cancer. It is unfortunate. I hate it. I hate COVID. I hate cancer. I hate those things that take out innocent souls. But what I mean by that, for this question specifically, is we had to really, really get quiet in COVID. We had to get close to our families when we were really quarantined. We had to really decide. We had to ask questions. What am I going to do now?
Exactly.
And listen, if you ask that question, let me tell you that was probably one of the best questions that you could ever ask, because many of you all were comfortable before COVID, and you would have been stuck if it wasn't for COVID. So what the enemy meant for evil, God turns around for our good. That's just the bottom line. So that's why I say it is the best time, because the enemy cannot take away my vision that God gave me. The enemy cannot stop what God has placed me. So if I see a barrier like COVID that the enemy throws in, now by faith, I can sit back and say, God, you have to do something. And take me out of this and bring us out of this, because you promised me. Now I'm preaching.
I was going to say, we're in church now.
Listen, and it's definitely been a faith journey. It's been a faith journey, because we know that through trial, there are things that we're going to be tested, we're going to gain from it, but you have to look beyond what is being shown in the natural. And I think that's where a lot of us as believers are kind of been like, okay, it doesn't look good on the outside. It just doesn't.
Right. It really does not.
You know, but what is it that what is it that I need in this season? What am I gaining from this season? And I think I would even go so far to say one of those questions are like, who am I? What am I doing in my life? Or who am I really? Not that corporate person, not that person that shows up at work, but like my inner self. I think that there's been a lot of good that's come through this terrible time.
Can I add this to that just popped in my head, and I'm trying not to put on the preacher hat and stay more just middle of the road.
Just be you.
I want everybody to listen to this clearly, and this is going back to Anna Moore 0503, and thank you for asking the question. I really appreciate it. Joseph had a dream that the sun, moon, stars were going to bow to him. And I'm going to put it in the BIV version, the Barry International version. He dealt with
like the BIV. Okay. Love it. Love it.
he dealt
about
with
being creative, right?
Creative.
right.
Okay.
Come, okay, there you go. There you go. He dealt with 13 years of COVID, 13 years of being incarcerated, prison, okay, tormented. But listen, but even in that time, he kept networking.
Yes.
So my question to each and every one of you all is, while COVID is going on, who are you meeting that can help you get out of the situation you're in now?
Finger clap.
Hello.
Okay. Who are you networking with? What new people are you reaching out to? People understand COVID. People understand that this is hitting a lot of people. But I've been networking. I've been networking like crazy and building relationships.
Yes.
You know, one, you know, didn't help. The other one forgot, but later on, he remembered. And so you need to start planting seed now.
Yes.
Wow.
Because the ground is still fertile for your harvest. It is still fertile for that seed, and you're going to reap a harvest, but a harvest only comes when seed has been planted.
Planting the seed.
Now, network, people.
Network.
We talked about it. We talked about it. Like, Barry, we want to thank you so much, you know, for your time. If you guys have not yet discovered Barry's testimony, you have a bit of it in on the blog.
Find out about your superpowers.
Absolutely. But I think, like Barry said, the COVID has forced us all to ask ourselves like critical questions about ourselves, about our purpose, and eventually for some of us to find our dominant place, where the place where we make impact, where we influence, and where we make income. Right? Do I get that right?
You got it.
That's right. Okay. It is.
So, Barry, we want to thank you, and we want to just let you have the word of the last word before we let you go.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Listen, Nally, Carlita, I'm very honored that I've made your acquaintance some months ago and that I'm able to even share with you and the listeners here today. Be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap if you don't lose heart.
Barry, you about to make me...
just keep going. It is tough. But let me just share this, that some of the greatest inventions, discoveries happen in the most bleak, darkest times of our world, our country, our lives. And, you know, even Jesus had to go down to get up. So just remember that.
Thank you so much.
Great last word.
Honored.
Thank you, Barry, again and again. And we will see you on Saturday for our leadership class.
And make sure you guys check out the leadership class. We posted his information. It's right here. Look him up.
Awesome.
Sign up. You will not regret it.
Absolutely not. Best Saturday morning spent.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Bye, Barry. And thank you, Miranda, if you're watching this. We do appreciate you for everything that you're doing.
Oh, yes. And thank you, Miriam. Right.
Absolutely. Ladies, take care. And everyone, thank you. Thank you for your time. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Barry.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. What a conversation.
What a convo, y'all. That was amazing. That last part, though, you know, it's tough, but keep it going. Like, it's so true. A lot of, like, the things that we use today we didn't even realize have come from moments where just the worst things have been happening in the world. So,
absolutely. We hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation, really. Like you said, like, do not get weary in your well-doing. And I know for every entrepreneur or everybody who want to launch their own business who might be, you know, watching this here or maybe on YouTube as we developing our platform on YouTube as well, that, you know, you've learned something out of this, that this have gave you the courage to maybe start your business, to go for it, you know. And if you are looking to find where your dominant place is, please do not hesitate. Reach out to Barry. on social media, on his platform. We put his website on here. Make sure that you have people around you that are taking you to the next level. That will be my word for you. Make sure that you surround yourself with people that are taking you to the next level. And sometimes it's not even that much about people than it is about ourselves. Because we limit ourselves, like, we put on limits ourselves because we are comfortable, and like a wise man once said, your life starts beyond the comfort level. So it is very important to walk by faith and not by sight. And don't take it for granted when you see some people doing things that you might want to do. Don't say because this person is already doing it, it's okay, I won't do it, because there is enough place for everybody if you find your dominant place. Once again, last week we talked about it in the French version when we were talking about like positioning, when I had my friend Thierry come in, and I know you guys are not French, but he was talking about finding your position, and staying there, the position that God gave you, not the one that people want or expect from you, but really like sticking to God's plan for your life, which, like Barry just said, like Joseph was in the pit for like, a certain amount of time between the dream and actually, the realization of the dream. So really do not get weary, people. We just we're doing what we do, and we thank the team and everybody behind this vision coming to pass, that, God is equipping all of us, like, and we want to share our journey with you. We want to grow with you. We just started, but we want to make sure that, whatever we do, we share with you. Whatever struggle we're going through, we share with you, so that you guys know that it don't just happen. It is a process.
Exactly. And I think that one of the important things to also note is that your gift will make room for you, just as Barry had said, not necessarily where you work or all those other things. It's kind of just realizing that talent that you have, and don't second guess yourself. You've been, and give yourself grace. I think that was the most important thing that I learned through this process.
Yes.
Is that we can be our own worst critic. We can be the ones that keep us from getting to that next level. Even if we've kind of figured out our atmosphere, figured out who's around us, the next step is make sure that you know you.
Absolutely.
You give yourself grace, understand that it's a process, like Carlita said. But, God has given you what you need to get to that next level. And it's just taking one step at a time, and it's a learning process.
Absolutely.
As you can see, Barry was saying today, he's an accomplished leader, and yet still, you will learn more new things about yourself throughout the journey. And that's exactly what it is. It's a journey in which that you are growing and blooming and flourishing on to the next.
Absolutely. And we just hope to be able, to make sure that we share what we can with you guys, to equip you guys to actually, take on the word and just be and do whatever you dream about doing. So next week we will have a great and recently licensed, right? Lawyer. And
well,
she's gonna
definitely
tune in, because she's gonna give us some very great advice on how to protect your craft. For all the creatives up here, all the business owners, everybody who's in business, one thing that we don't do enough is protect ourselves. Copyright, trademarks, and all those things. So we stay tuned. We're gonna launch the graphics and the advertisements about it. Next week we will see you here on Friday with Rebecca Gordon. So and before we go, do you have a last word before we
have a happy Friday? You know what I mean? If you, or at least the weekend, find yourself some joy. I think in this process we don't give ourselves enough time to find joy. So I am praying that each and every one of you that are watching would have a moment of peace and joy in recognizing, what your blessings are in this season.
Like you say, what your rocks are.
What your rocks are. That was great, actually.
That was absolutely great. Like the rocks that you have and taking it to the next level. It's always about the next level. So this was really good. So thank you everybody that is watching, wherever you're watching from. We love you guys, though we don't know you all. We thank you for being part of this community, and we really, really won't be doing all the things that we're doing if not for you guys.
Exactly.
And always remember that you are not a work in progress, because the work is finished, right? So you are a purpose in process. Thank you guys again, and we will see you next week. I mean, I will see the French community on Wednesday. But
y'all see me next week.
See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.